All right, John, is this enough field of view?
Yeah.
Camera, the 360 camera's right there. Okay.
Yeah, we have to, so we have to say.
Well, actually, the secondary thing is if you use this. It basically just.
It's prefer. Are you going to sit up there and do it?
See, so that way they can see everything. So it doesn't matter where you guys stand, they just move it around.
So it always can see us.
It always see you, yeah. So it's broadcasting live.
But the only problem is that if it's there, they're always going to be looking at our rear ends. How does it know who to key on? Or do you move it?
Well, they move it.
We don't.
People. Whoever's watching it.
Oh, they have to have it on the map.
Yeah. I sent out.
I'm gonna make sure they change it.
It's easy.
I got it. Okay, I see what you're saying. So my
So this is option B. This is also going to be broadcasting live. This is just my laptop. I can move the laptop.
yeah, but way back we'll be able to see us.
Yeah.
So let's just move it back to like the middle of the table. So at least we have that to work on.
You want to just have this be like an off limits table then? You want people to sit close by you?
I think it's fine. Just put and then this, and then the only thing, Andrew, is it possible to have this thing like over here? You know what I'm saying?
Like this here. Okay.
So then, yeah, sometimes it's going to be
Well, maybe people want to see that. Okay, well, that's where they'll use the 360 thing then.
Is this mine?
Yes. No, that's mine. Here's right here.
You know,
Is it weird walking up there?
oh, yeah, my first comment. Somebody said.
Oh, God.
Yes.
What? Oh, that's it?
I'll just come with you. Yeah.
People have said that the answer you're streaming on YouTube right now.
Oh, thank you.
You don't have a standard back. Yeah. Can I scan you?
Sure. I can scan you back.
I'm Jill.
Yeah, so we, division or, well, no, that's, side design within, design within the business unit. So we are training function that supports all the inventive contract sales teams. And, we also are a concept of like whole resident involved. So we do, at the same time. Which is not can't come out, you mentioned computer. That same way to set up. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get started. It's just about 1:15. Thank you all for coming. I know it's a prologue on the first day, but I think this workshop is going to excite you. We're going to have fun. We have a lot of stuff planned. So we'll get to the agenda and let you know what the work is here. First, I would like to introduce. First, I'd like to introduce our esteemed panel. We have an esteemed panel today from Indo, and we have George, Colleen, Erica, Reynolds, and Jim. They will be a spotlight panel, that spotlight case study they're going to talk to you about that pulls together all the aspects of creating the code and practical learning. So that's going to be a very exciting discussion. They also are going to be agendas for an activity we have planned. It's going to be pretty exciting and fun. So in addition to that, my name is Celeste Mosby, and I'm from Inventive Health Learning Solutions. John Fry is our general manager of Inventive Health. I'll let him introduce himself as well.
Yeah, welcome everybody. And then also we have we're live streaming, so with our group. So with Inventive, a lot of people are like, oh, Inventive is CSO. We're actually the learning solutions group within Inventive. So we support all the field teams with Inventive. And we also have 40, 50 clients that have come to us for just about their life science companies work. But we don't handle life learning solutions through Pharmaceutical Institute that now runs that function. So we're live streaming because we had our colleagues, and a lot of people worked on with that and helped us with the presentation together. We put a break all here. But so we got and our colleagues in Japan who contributed to this as well wanted to see the presentation. Our folks in Europe all wanted to see how this came together. So we're live streaming, and we got a 360 camera over there too, which is good. That's what's not fun. Yeah, so anyway, welcome everybody, and I'll turn it back over to Celeste and get things rolling.
So, in true nature of training, there's learning objectives, right? So, what we're going to talk about is some of the engaging 21st century learning ideas that are really shaping how training is literally changing, right? It's kind of innovation change is the new norm in training, and there's no going back. So we all have to embrace that. So one of the things you'll see on your table is a trends report. And basically did, and they put this report out every year. What they did this year was digital learning innovation is impacting learning so much over the last 2 years. They actually did a special report for us as it relates to learning. So you'll get some ideas and an activity we're going to do. Just let me know what's in front of you. The reason here is breaking the code. What we decided to do is put a toolkit together. So that every time you go to develop a learning activity, a learning program, the action around learning and sustainability, we want toolkits for considerations around what to integrate, when to integrate it, what's the best thing to do, and when. So that would be kind of a cool topic. We'll also take a deeper look into how learning styles is driving some of adaptable learning. So when you look at the different ways people like to learn, it's driving learning communities, it's driving the things that we push out to certain learners as well. And it has to be considered in their design. So we'll touch base on that. The biggest thing too toward the end is a group of individuals going to do a case study of how they took all the aspects of the toolkit and aligned that into one of their onboarding programs. Okay? So have fun. We're going to have fun. We're going to do our workshops and we get kind of go crazy. But so the first thing is I'm going to turn it over to John. John's going to talk for just a few minutes on 21st century learning.
She laid out the original slides, she's like, you want to and then we're going through, because my not here because I would make sure that it's really, really engaging at the very beginning when I walk through it, because it's going to be late in the day. And now she dumps it over today. So my big thing was, and I was funny, is that we have the Fitbit spinners, which apparently was a big hit because we're 500. And I was doing one other guy, at the end, there's going to be Fitbit spinners left. And I'm like, no, I did get some other start reaching in because I had an 8-year-old. And all I did was tell him that I wasn't going to buy him a Fitbit spinner for the last month and a half, every time I do it. And then I'm like digging through this thing, and then there wasn't any left. I'm like all panicked, so I brought up called Jill up there. I'm like, Jill, I need you to reach out to the outside people, find somebody that took more than one. And the other way back, Zach's going to kill it. And then one of the folks on our team back was like, well, there's one in the garbage, it's broken now. So I was able to get it fixed. So I'm really, really excited because Zach is going to be really excited about this. So anyway, but moving on. So here's the story about 21st century learning. The reality is that we have to learn with all the stuff that's out there, just fast information. And I know a lot of you are just looking around the room. I mean, when I was in college, I remember going to a library and looking through the microfiche libraries and having to dig through little files of information. And it really just is amazing how much content that's out there. And the focus of this, though, then resides on, well, now that we have all this available content, the complexity is around how we engage learners, what are the different tools that we can dive into to leverage it, how can we leverage technology, how we get people to be, it's funny, you have all this information at your fingertips, And then we think about how we tap into individuals' curiosity. So then we started talking about the evolution of learning. And you can click all the way through. Well, this is kind of funny. So back up on this, we were trying to figure out how to show the digital evolution. And so Ryan, one of our graphic designers, did a lot of work on this. I was talking to him and I kind of joked around and said, well, grab the monkeys and use the monkeys somehow. Apparently he used the monkeys to kind of show this. The idea is that as both a teacher and as well as a student, we've gone from the origination where it was all dynamic learning, it was all, or we moved to more, we bring in SMEs and now guest lectures, etc. And we've gotten to the point where it's the empowered partner, it's almost like a partnership to get people to learn. And then from individuals, it's going more so from individual focused learning to community focused learning. And I think as learning professionals, these are the types of things that we have to balance and work through. So before we dive into all of this, so what this talks about is, in perfect world, we need to look at instructional design first. We need to think then, what is the strategic intent of our training? What are we trying to accomplish? What then, now that we know our objectives, we know what we want to do, we know what the end point. Then we start looking into all these technological tactics that we can apply to it, okay? And ultimately, that gives us the enhanced experience. What I found, and what we've all found, is that, and I'm sure this is kind of the common statement, is we started to focus on technology as the initial starting point. So what is the cool looking technology that we are going to use to do our training? And then ultimately, what it does is the instructional design, we put that on top of it. We do that afterwards. And we basically turn it on its head to try to figure out how to use all this stuff first and then build a training on it. They talk about the media is the message. I think you've heard that comment before, where there's a professor up in Toronto that coined that statement. And the idea is that you leverage the medium and you have your message, but the medium becomes the message itself. And what we come to learn with all of this, as I'm sure you all have struggles with how to use different technology, is that the message is the message. The medium is the more effective way to deliver the message. And that, I think, is with everything that we're doing, that we're in the process right now. I think we're handling about 10 launches of different field teams and developing the content for that. And lots of clients right now that we're working with, and we're trying to figure out how can we best actually use technology to deliver what it is that we're trying to do, and not sacrifice our instructional design principles to put this all together. And I think the best way of it is back up for 1 second, Celeste. Just to before I go forward. Watch it spinning that again. But we get more into the cool technology and the fun games, and everything that we do is broken down when we actually deliver the training. And so we pulled up a case example to give you an idea of what we're talking about.
So I'm going to give you just one example of what John was talking about in a quick activity. So one example of a struggle, we had a client that called me and said, I want a game, I want an action game. Okay. So he said, I want to use the app technology of game, and here's the questions I'm going to put in. And we struggled, we literally delivered it 2 or 3 times, and they're like, that's not it. So when I went back and asked the question, what's the strategic intent of what your learners need to learn, and what do they need to do better as a result of the game? And so when we peeled back the onion, it really was, we want to take a new set of model, we want them to ask engaging questions, we want them to link engaging questions to insights, so they become customers. I'm like, oh, just sit there in the first place. So then we're able to take those reviews and then filter back and design a game, right? And make the engagement around that because we really understood the intent of the training and what they were trying to accomplish. So what we like to do before we go into the breaking the code toolkit is go back to ask you guys a question. So before we unveil that, we'd love for you to share with each other at the table for a couple minutes. What are some of your best practices when you think about ways that you've been able to take difficult situations as trainers for your learners? How have you engaged them? How did you engage different types of learners? How did you measure success? So just we want to get a baseline before we go into the toolkit. And if you've done that, it's been successful, we'd love you to share on the opposite end when it's not been successful. And why you think it was not successful as well. Just a couple minutes to talk about that at your table before we unveil some of the things that we think are going to make a difference.
I think the best way to do this is think of one event that you have that you went out, you just nailed it. You have the learners engaged, you were able to deliver the training objectives you sought for, you were able to measure it, and then think of another one that on paper should have been flawless, but it was, when it was all set up, it ultimately ended up being a failure. That's what we want to talk about initially, as Les said, we could talk about how, after all of us going through those things, how we started rethinking about how to reframe this. So if you don't mind, take about 5 minutes at your table, we'll do a brief talk back. Okay?
The first time said, oh, he was going to develop the way it works, then he didn't do something. So you're doing well. Well, one thing that it looked like it was going well in it. All I want to do is very experienced concept we are getting this
Surprisingly,
second skills that really create the normal concept that so instead of doing like high for leadership, really so much control. Where you engage young managers to second line using the topics aligns your management and leadership competencies. It's only 30 minutes. Thanks for volunteering. And so people pick what topics they are interested to them and then not always be the same job in everyone. So collectively, 13 minutes time for the course to get a lot of sustainable tools, well then build a building for 2 reasons. One, you're limited the number of people who can actually join. So that's the reason. I want to know what you're doing that you can join. And then we also send the post training tool that we can actually think through the so we do emotional and then go to the team. So if you look at that, it was so complex because I was trying to use multiple tools and then it's just the point we get a lesson because I couldn't explain it just well even the way I had in mind. And it was all about the technology of the tools that in the mind, it wouldn't, we had to share it further and we could share the meaning and I was like, that's when I could say about this and it wasn't just so that's what I say. Just a general best practice, making sure that you don't treat relations like they don't know anything. Really trying to knowledge that utilizing it better, you know, so there's more knowledge there. And that's always been something that's been. I mean, I guess on the flip side, you know, most of the times in the past, courses, you know, they're started at way too low of a level.
Take about 2 minutes more.
But so
Yeah, the document is entitled to you title something sales training.
Okay, so we're going to start back at the table back there. Won't you give us your best and your worst? So an example of one of the best things we executed was working doing product launch, and the workshops were specific around building business plans. So each representative was building their business plan, and then at the end there was a Shark Tank analysis of who built the best business plan to execute from day one. And it was judged by all the head of sales leadership. So it allowed for a working document to be developed during the training, and we were able to assess the best business plans everyone was able to share ideas, and then the representatives were able to leave them document their plan of action. So
just a kid mess with money, you know.
and yes, the first retired. And first.
So for the worst, we were kind of talking about gamification gone wrong and how sometimes you can create something that takes a lot of time, like, for example, a big snakes and ladders game around a product launch and around product monograph questions, and how sometimes it turns into a little bit more about the competitiveness and the rules of the game. You know, well, that question was worded correctly, and so half the questions don't even get answered. Some of them don't even get asked. So a lot of times with these games, you have to be really careful that it's going to be executed in a way that all of the content is going to get out within like the time of the session, whereas sometimes, you know, we get 2 or 3 questions asked, and that's it, because they were so focused on the competition of the game itself.
The process is so.
Yes.
Perfect. Would you like to take on that story?
So one of our best practices was we had a workshop here to focus on facilitation. And it's one thing to talk about how to facilitate well, but what we found out was really successful was actually having participants come up and go through motions and go through actually getting words out of their mouth. As we all talk about best practices, we saw that common theme coming up at the time of actually putting the participants through that engagement and having them actually work through some area. And we didn't make it to first practice.
That's okay.
So I don't see
Good enough. That's good.
gamification before, so we'll see details on that.
Thank you for sharing. That's a great idea.
So hi everybody, I'm Mary from Pfizer, Canada. So our best practice, one of the most stressful one that came to mind was just a couple weeks ago, with a mixed audience of medical and hospital sales reps. So we had more just like a speed dating exercise. We were doing problem solving. So we had people presented their problems, groups of 10, they presented their problems, 5 minutes each. And we had 5 chairs in the middle, 5 chairs on the outside, and just a rotation. We had 5 minutes to get the problem solved from here from 5 other people with different perspectives. Everybody left the meeting that session, so we had around 10 minutes, but people had pages and pages of notes hearing just a totally different way of thinking that somebody else might have solved their problem that you or your own, within your own group you might not have thought. And it makes me first thoughts. That was our most recent, and here's our example of what not to do.
So this activity was an example of us not doing what you're supposed to do, like you're about to do in a workshop when you're told to do something, and we actually started networking and did the second one. So it's a great opportunity to make sure you keep your learners engaged in the activity and fun.
Sorry.
Awesome, master. Sorry, my voice is out. Right. So what we did is we talked about some of the May the 4th. So we just started orders meeting and probably got trouble from Disney for doing so. And May the 4th be with you. So we launched the drug. We did the scrolling letters to engage the audience with the video. We also did a live video for the VP to talk to the sales force live via chat, as well as the video as well. We also did polling within that webcast. We use WebEx. So for anybody who knows WebEx versus OpenConnect, including different systems, go ahead and do everything on one web. So that's what that's. I'll put it on one for you.
Thank you.
I remember kind of like that group, we only got to one thing, so best practice, and I don't know if it's a best practice, but it's something that I did just recently with a product launch. Typically, we have everybody compete individually or also district-wise. This time we decided, we had a big audience, and we decided to mix it up a little bit. We still wanted them to compete with their district, but we also got, we created different pods of people, so there were people all over the United States, kind of sitting in different pods. So their pods were also competing, so they got to network and get to know the whole time of a 5-day meeting, this group, and became a whole different camaraderie rather than just your district. So it was kind of a new way of engaging owners.
Thank you.
So I'm not Stephen, we're with Alexa now, but the example was when I had a company where we did what we call leadership lessons, similar to tech talks. But how we got people engaged was we limited the number of people who would sign up for this virtual voluntary session. They had sessions led by their own leaders, so our own team leaders would lead a topic of, say, emotional intelligence. And we have 30 minutes, so short, they come in, they learn, we record it, and then send a recording to those who were not able to attend, as well as job aids to follow through. So by creating it that way, they could take the job aids and go in and apply it in their own regions. But also we created a, oh, well, I couldn't attend that, okay, now I'm going to be the first person to sign up. So we got engagement that way. And measuring success was how often they were going back to do the playback and asking us for resources to pull it through in their regions. So we worked out really well in terms of engaging them. What didn't work was a product training workshop that we did for a national meeting where it was too complex. So we focused on the technology and it was like play this game and then you go through this channel. So by the time the week before the national meeting, we had to change it because we were going to have our managers lead it and it was too complex for them. So that was one way that it wasn't successful. It was really good, but it wasn't successful.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Maureen from Phillips Healthcare. We recently started a new hire in-person training event back in March. The first one was back in March. And one of the things we wanted to try to stay away from was death by PowerPoint, because it was a lot of everything from company overview all the way down to progress. So one of the things that we did is some of our sales reps have very complex processes that they have to just get an order in that they have to follow. So our commercial operations team actually put a game together, got teams together that were people that sold the same product, maybe were different roles within that business line. And they had colored cards, and they had the process, and they had the process. They were at work, so they learned how to do the process right out of the gate. Because if you get these processes wrong, it costs the company a lot of money to make it right against the customer. It makes it too visible to the customer. So we got them up and moving and interacting, and they got solid little plastic trophies and pictures with their teams that they won at the end. It was really, really simple, but it was one of the best parts of the event. So a lot of fun. One thing that did work in the same event We had product overviews, and these are complex products, MRI systems, CT systems. I had a couple of trainers that couldn't be there in person. So we videoed them in, and it just did not go well because they're complex. It was kind of like a little monotone and just being there in person.
Hello, Mark, Jazz Pharmaceuticals. At our NSM, we rolled out a digital sales day for the first time. So we didn't want to just do the big download of NSM, so we did a phased approach. The first phase was just a series of videos. We had a keyword, showed the back of the light, showed the good of the light. The next phase was scavenger hunt. It was interactive. They could see the message was the same, but just the layout was different. And the last one, like an interactive role-play session.
Awesome. Thank you. Just one more table and then I think.
Hi, I'm Tim Kaser with Baxter Corporation. We are at the fortune of being this very hotel for a national training meeting in February. And we have thousands of people here, and we were through a mobile app, actually as a vendor called Scrimmage. And we deployed this year in combination with a very tenured group of self-trainers who brought a lot of creativity to their sessions, integrating their sessions with the capabilities of the mobile environment. And so as a best practice, it's going to continue to encourage that really strong creativity. We did everything from Johnny Carson-esque, like interviews up on stage, down to rival games where I could challenge you to a battle online live and score points. That was very, very successful. What we didn't do quite so well is we created a gaming event for just National Training Week. And instead of carrying that through and making it more valuable to the end users for the entire year and make it something instructive, we try to do for a specific session. And that kind of did a valuable. So our learning from that is that the individual event can be like, yeah, this subject is very complex. Here to do that, fine, treat it as a SPED kind of program. But if you're going to contribute information with the learning experience, it's got to be an ongoing learning process. And it feels a one-time thing for that. It's another thing I've got to do.
Yeah.
This should be part of it.
Thank you. Wow. So that was fantastic. Thank you.
One more thing.
So what I heard was two things as we talk about the toolkit. And a little bit on the toolkit. What I heard was keep learners engaged, make it fun, small bites of learning, interactive, many different mediums, accountable for the different roles, all best practices. What I heard as just be careful is don't make it too complex. The process takes over the content, right? Don't make the process so far that folks kind of disengage. So I think there's a lot of money in there. What we've come up with is kind of a combination of a lot of what you guys think, but we came up with the 4 Ds, right? And we start thinking about all the launches we do, all the curriculums we do, all the mediums we use, all the people that are involved. John, it's a funny story. We really do like stuff. You know, that's not
Sounds like a dual meeting.
He has this ability to learn all the words I was about to say. I just want you guys to know that.
It's more than just accessible.
So anyway, in this age of innovation, you can even make them work.
That's right, just totally just make it up. Put it up there, you know, you guys aren't going to use it. Tweet it, Jill, tweet it.
All what you said, and walk away with them. Right? I want to keep others engaged. You ask yourself these prompting questions, right? So we sit down to design, we look at what you have, we want to validate what you've done in the past, and then move on to some creative
You actually ask yourself, look at me, what can I do? Want to learn. So we're using the stage of the speaker this morning, so he has that time because I'm so into this. What is 2.0 for us, right? Yes, we're traders and we're in the environment now. More exciting than ever before, but it can't carry on. So how much engagement is good engagement, right? How can you really have people curious about learning? What we learned is sustainable learning is the learners actually take accountability for their own learning, right? That's what we find that people want to sustain, right? It's most important to PSP and NTY negotiation years ago before I came to Inventive. And when I lived in myself, I really became involved in the negotiation program because I wanted to negotiate better with my husband and my kids, right? So I started to use it for everyday life program. I wanted to do something that was you know, so it's hard to be kind of second nature in my DNA. What can I keep it interesting and exciting? All those things you talked about.
Yeah, I can talk about it. So with my work, with accessible, the whole point of it is that we want to have things that are accessible to people all the time. So that's the whole point. I mean, people want to learn, people are busy, and you think about how people are grabbing information in small chunks at times, and you can get it whenever. So when am I going to have my small moment? You want to have that, but you also want to have it in excess. And that was the whole point. You want to have a lot of it available for when you want to get into it, put some time in it, and you can get to it. So it becomes the whole point about how can the experience be enhanced by sharing the content, but delivering it in multiple ways based upon people's different learning styles. So one of the things we always talk about is that as trained professionals, we're developing our stuff. We develop our one way that we're going to deliver it. The idea is that you have people that like to learn differently, and we'll dive into a little bit more about how we've broken that down. But the idea is it's very inexpensive after you have your first model built out to build derivative training that may be more enticing to somebody who may want to learn differently. To take an e-module, create a PDF version of it, very easy to do, create an audio thing from it, to have then someone do like a webinar, all from the same thing. The first chunk of it's expensive, and after that, it's one of the things I've really learned being kind of, like I said before, we're cost-centered and profit-centered. What we do is that once you have the initial thing put together, the next derivatives are really easy to do. And then what you find is that people are more engaged because they can get access to it the way they want to get it. And then the last thing has to do with accessibility and leveraging your LMS system, but also leveraging the different types of digital platforms. We've created modals, what we call ours. And it's the idea of I need a way to be able to provide learners structure when they have time to do stuff, and to be able to dive in and be able to get it. Okay? A good explanation?
So the last tool that I'll show you kind of the toolkit is right? So what kind of things actually change behavior? That's the core everything for us, right? We go to measure now because we don't measure it so big. And we create those learning moments that are going to add the energy to those really some different functionality.
One other comment about the fact that one of the biggest things that we've been focused on to develop our training is to connect the dots from conceptual. You see a lot of training that comes out is very kind of conceptual. Here's some ideas, and then let's hope the learner can figure out how the stuff applies. What we really started driving for in our effective is that making it functionally relevant. And then the whole idea is that you tell them, you basically tie all the knots together for them, and you don't leave them wondering what the endpoint is supposed to be. Sure, this is how this is going to be. This is how it's going to impact your job. And in some cases, based upon whatever assets you're using to roll it out, you say, I'm going to show you what it's going to look like when it's implemented. But it's the whole idea of not leaving it to the learner to suddenly decide how they're going to leverage it. That's one of the biggest ways that you can drive consistency. And then that leads us into our final point.
Yeah, no, that's good. John, to just support what you're saying, it's a great point because through the games, and almost every table will mention that you're using games. You can't walk away from gamification and games not really knowing the point of the game. So why were the questions, answered in a certain way? What's the takeaway? So that's a really good point.
Yeah, because we've had a lot of things like that where we're not really using the game. And everybody walks around, oh, that's training everyone, it's the funnest time I've ever had. And there's nothing learned that you wanted to drive home. Your strategic intent of what you're training got lost in this really, granted, a really cool event that you put on. But when they walked away from it, it dissolved into, that was the best event I ever had, but there was nothing related to the business was driven home. And it's one of the kind of the problems when you get the little thing back that says, yeah, I loved it, but did you learn it?
Yeah, so I'm gonna, first I can get to my team here. How about balance time has been training versus tough doing? So again, when they're in the workshop, balancing kind of the takeaway, the time that you spend on training is always something that, you fight for time at launch meetings, you fight for time, you fight for budget. So how can that time be most efficient? So that's really something that we focus a lot on. If you can say there's impact and there's a learning and there's a takeaway, it's usually.
Yeah, so what we've done in that model is before we sit down with our learning strategy folks, we started using that model to ask those questions across that framework. And then what it's done is it's helped make sure that whatever we're creating isn't drifting into either continuous discussion or treating this as a good shot.
Yeah. So here are some examples. This is kind of the toolkit, right? So when you think of those 4 buckets we talked about. Oh no. Okay. So these are the examples. So when we looked at everything out there, what you're doing, we went out to the market, you can look at your trends documents with our team, went out to what's going on in the industry. And these are some of the things that came up in what we're calling the 4 E's, right? So you look at engaging. It's the playing of the game, but keeping, it's literally through the lens of keeping the brain fit around some of the topics. So what are those hot topics, right? And so outside of just core training, these are these hot topics for your disease state, for your product, for your market. What are those things that you focus on? The generational, this has been coming for a while, right? But it's that generational mindset. True that millennials are kind of driving this, right? Because of technology and all the other things that are going on in the market, but we can't go away from those things that have worked really, really well for us in the past.
Yeah, it's not millennials mindset too. One of the things that was talking a lot about is that we kind of have that thing like millennials and you can't just all one of the things that we're kind of doing a lot of is that the newer generations of technology is totally everyone that way. And so what becomes really important is not to get hung up on early development of millennials. It's a lot of people that, like if you think about what your parents a few years ago, I don't want to use that. But the idea is that people want to have technology, but we can talk about before. The launching of these apps that just come intuitive to use. The only time the car is just like there's no it's all none of it's intuitive, but very logical, it's not intuitive. We need to make things that are very easy and simple and organized. So it's click here. You guys have all been there. Everybody's been there. It's just how many times have you got a kid with Xbox? Sometimes you just screen of the Xbox and you just get to work. It's those types of things. It's not easy. But with the millennial mindset, this idea of how can this technology put together, we've got to remember that. We got to make sure that we explain it because there's a subset of people that just aren't going to get it.
And then just as trainers, stay on top of some of the things that are coming out that might literally link into what you're doing. So you just pick up the latest trends and learn. And I did this just to add. So hackathons. I'm like, I see this title, hackathons. What is that? So I learned that everyone's using that now throughout our industry. So why can't we apply that to learning? All that is creative shop sessions. You're getting folks in a room from either marketing, sales, training, all different groups, and you're doing creative sessions. But how can learning stay? You should make the learners part of that experience, right? And give that group a problem to solve and see how they solve it creatively together. So that's some of the things that are happening that is new out there. It just, you see these new words out there. accessible, John's word. So on-demand learning, 24/7, right? And the portal's an app, so we'll show you in 1 second, what brings all of this learning together in one hub that makes it easily accessible. I don't want to go back and have my manager say, I sent you an email 2 weeks ago, and I have to go look for it. I just want to know one place for all of these things. Right? So adaptable learning, the only way that works is if you make the content easy enough to get to in a quick time frame. I'm a visual, I'm an expressive, and if it takes me more than 5 minutes to get to something fast, please do it. He's my boss to tell you that's the case. Oh, that's right. Effective. So functional relevance of what John was talking about, application, everywhere learning, immersive simulations. This is all we do now in live event. We spend about 20 minutes on theory and content. The rest of it is all simulation and kind of these realities, reality environments we create.
Exactly. I get that they have the simulations, but I think the issue is the lack of realism. If you can get these things to be immersive, like real models, and you can touch on these things, that has to be the response that you want.
Absolutely. And then this morning, what kept you engaged in the keynote? It was the story. Like, I wanted to know what was next, what was next. And so every training, we also try to know that story. What is that story, right? And how can we keep people involved? And then lastly, the efficient piece is obviously leveraging all of these sources. Even if there's stuff out there in the public domain and the resources, we scan it, right? And put links to it. We do that quite a bit, right? We develop the key message, branded, we put the link to the TED Talks or the public domain content, and then we apply it. What does that mean? You can use the same exact video and the message and application piece will be different for a grad and for a candidate. But it's efficient because we're using the same thing. And I'm just going to hurry here because I want to kind of switch over to my colleagues here. But we partner with a group called Loco, and what we've developed is this mobile app that brings all these things. You can go to one place now with your LMS where you've developed an app inside of your organization, and you can do everything. You can do your practice, you have your video features in there where you can do verbalize and interact with your manager. All the content, your media library, your document library, everything you're in the meeting setting is in this app as well. Videos if you want to do gamification and push games and have a streaming. Someone, this gentleman said that, from Baxter saying that if you do a game in a live event, you carry that through your post. When you do it through the app environment, so you have a constant leaderboard going, and it really keeps up. I'm trying to Dallas after this, we're doing a couple product launches. We started gamification and home study, and we're continuing all the way through the post-training environment or launch environment. And you're building points throughout. So it's like, how do you continue that engagement, but it's not overkill?
And the big thing about that is that we found it needs to be laid out and some organized information for them to go there. You also have stuff going on and go to your home, it's supposed to do well. Here's where all these things are. That way, extra stress on the learner.
Yeah. Even the assessments, because that's so big right now. When you put things in an environment, a controlled environment like that, people expect, we do that in Facebook as well, they expect that there's going to be an assessment after, there's going to be a touch point. So it gives you really cool dashboards to really do something about it and coach to that. So I'm going to skip right now. The last piece here is about the learning styles. So we found that if we focus on these three styles, these three learning styles, that it helps with that relevance piece John talked about. It helps with the mode of delivery, how people want. So I'm a visual learner, so I want to see videos. I want to see e-modules. If you hand me a document that has like 10 pages, I'm probably not going to read it and try to get through the assessment without doing it, right? So you have to understand that when you're doing design of any program, you're not going to design 3 ways, but you're going to take into consideration the 3 styles that within that design, you have aspects of it. Does that make sense? And so being relevant, interactive, bite-sized, all of that is great, but if you're not aligned to some of the ways people like to learn, then you're going to kind of miss out on some of those learners instead of getting more, right? Aesthetic, visual, auditory. Then the relevance, this is the last slide here. So I'll kind of point to the learning objectives. We're in training, so we're used to coming up with business-related learning objectives that links to training outcomes. One of the things we're finding extremely successful is linking personal objectives within the objectives, right? So if you say to folks, okay, you're going to be able to do something better on the job, but also in your personal life, you're going to be able to do something better as it relates to that skill, like you're better at that skill. What we find that people in their mind then start to use that in their everyday life, not just on the job. It starts to become part of their DNA. They're walking around, they're talking about it. And that's when we find that we have kind of the functional relevance, but we have that personal as well. Somewhere in the middle, the two shall meet, and then you start to see learners that are more.
Yeah, so with that, one of the big things that we learned is that, especially in the industry, industry's not going on before, a lot of us agree to go there. And the idea of that is that through the learning that you're getting from this, or the training, it's not that you're leading this capabilities from another organization, but you're broadening your capabilities to be more marketable. And then those skills that are great, you can apply to different parts of your life and add that quality.
Yeah. And the last piece here is around field force excellence. So with everything, there's got to be obviously measurement wrapped around it. And I think we've come up with an easy way to approach how you do that. You build these in so people expect it at certain points with their, whether it's an event or quite frankly, whether they're just working with their manager on a daily or not daily, but kind of monthly basis. And we kind of said, when should level 1, 2, 3, 4 happen, right? And we put that within the plan. And so what it gives you on the back end is a way to say, from a core training perspective, these are things that are working really, really well and all these ideas. But then from an individual learner perspective, like we just talked about, it gives you some really great touch points to work with managers. Give managers these dashboards that they can really do something about it for the individual.
Exactly. And then, again, the challenge with this, honestly, is that if it's built into the training plan, it's just part of it. Because we're looking at this like with teams. Training group has it for a while, and actually also the field team, and then it's my sales team. And then there comes like an argument that kind of what we've done is we've built it in from the very get-go, and that becomes part of the training. The learners that are going to manage this is supposed to happen next. The managers, if they're not hitting it, and it basically is kind of an interact to accomplish what you want to do, which is kind of consistent planning on how it's still information. You can get information on it. There's no background on talking about resources. Also, we maximize the value of what we do. It's data. Yeah. You can tell every story in modern data. You can get like a strong three-point narrative that's building out of that data. Contact has some type of model for this. You then all of a sudden going to change the dynamic of your actions. And that's one of the biggest things that have taken on the benefit is trying to reshape your thinking around what training does, and not just delivering these modules and selling them. Because we're building field force excellence by tracking how people perform results in the strategy. And then that's how we do it. And then that's where the power is.
So we have a spotlight for a company that's doing a great job. It starts from upgrading, it starts from kind of that initial training thinking. So we want to spotlight it today, and really give examples of really that they're approaching this.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. My name is Eric Brand. I'm the Senior Director of Training at today, so we'll be brief. We have a really unique opportunity as an organization. We've been able to accomplish a lot, but I have to say, there's a lot of wind behind our sails. I joined a year ago, and the department really was left vacant for a number of years before I came on board and my team did. So we had a lot of things that were falling apart. We didn't have a selling model, we didn't have a coaching model, we didn't have competencies, and even some of our learning modules were in the process of expiring. So we had a lot of work cut out for us over the last year, and where we had a lot of wind behind our sails is that our leadership team knew that, and they got out of our way. And God, is it great when they get out of your way, and what we're able to accomplish. And I guess for us, you know, what we want to do really is give a very high touch onboarding experience for our representatives. We have 3 business units that we support, and we basically, you know, in the period of a year, have transformed their, we were about to launch the new workshops for our classes coming in mid this month. But we really started with new hire in mind in terms of onboarding materials, as well as modules, and even to the point of in our onboarding materials, our leadership team gave us a blessing. Our managers need to sign off that the reps are ready to come to training. We don't get the signature, they can't come in. On the back end, we're developing 3069 plans. The team will talk more about it. What we're trying to do is encapsulate the whole learning experience. So it's high touch, but also it's not just on us. And there's a really nice handoff between us as well as the managers when we're coming into training and sending it back to them. On some of these things, we've partnered with Inventive, and Jim and others will talk more about that. We've leveraged technology. I think, you know, as a piece of advice, and I'm an engineer by training, my big bugaboo is, you know, technology needs to fill a need, and you don't want to do something for technology's sake. And my favorite technology story is Uber, right? I say it wherever I go, and it's something that's brilliant because, you know what, it's simple, it combines a number of things, and it has a lot of things done. And if you're using technology in the training space, you don't want to do it if it's going to take 20 hours to program it, right? It needs to work. So with that, I'll turn it over to George, and we'll start with some of our journey. But we feel very fortunate that our leadership team has given us an empty campus, and they've gotten out of their way. I know I've been in some larger organizations where it's not that easy, so I can't see what we come here need to be in every organization. But I think what's important is surrounding the rep with a really good process from beginning to end, so that there's a fair handoff. You hold them accountable, you hold the managers accountable, and whatever we do, we're setting them up for success. You know, I started in the industry in the 90s where you get all the binders in the mail and 3.5-inch copies, right? And you take your test, and it's like, good luck, right? We want to get away from that, and that's really, we're not there yet, and there's probably a lot more we can learn, but that's what we're trying. So, George.
Thank you, Eric. My name is George Holland. First of all, floppies and glue are the same sentence. Probably the only person to get away with it. Very good. So thank you, everyone. So my task today is to explain a little bit about home study training and what we did at Endo to make it more engaging. So I bet you if you think back to your past, think about some of the people you had in your training, that you had a long call and the best time to see in your class walk. We wanted to try to avoid that. So we got a bunch of stakeholders involved. We got marketing involved, the national sales directors, the district field trainers. We've gone to the ground level. Say, how can we make this class more engaging? And what we came up with is we had originally 2 weeks of home study training, but we moved to 3. It seems like a long time. But we put a lot of points in that 3 weeks training. What we did is we put the didactic presentations out of the live training and moved them to the home study. So our live training, who's going to talk about it a little more, is really action-based and activity instead of having the talking head at the top of the front of the class on the slides. So that's one thing. We started to work on this thing called a touch point. And for those that don't know this, what we did for each module is we had a touch point call with the reps. And it could last between 15 and 45 minutes. And it could involve role-playing, let's say the CDA. It could involve the patient and HCP journey, or there's questions. And once they're done with that touch point, then they take their assessment. But what I love about this is you ask a bunch of questions to the team to see if they get it, and then you actually have a case study after that to really get into that patient and HCP journey and builds it upon itself as you go through these touch points throughout the 3 weeks. So that's really working well. We also have this thing called a hire review. I'm not going to steal Jim's thunder, but it's actually a pretty cool idea to see where the reps are. So you have to use this app before. I encourage you to look out and Jim will talk more on that. So with that being said, I think we just we're into our 10th day now of this new model. And we talk to the folks when they call up, geez, we have touch points maybe sometimes twice a day. If they get tired of this, but they're more interactive than I've ever seen them. So by the time they get in class, they know so much more than what they did in other trainings. Thank you. I'll turn it over to Jeff.
Thank you, George. My name is Jim Barrett. I'm obviously the head of sales. So to go along with what George was saying, we kind of set So what is the actual goal of live training? What do we really want to accomplish at this point? So, as a hiring sales manager, previous to sales training, I used to hear that the rule of thumb is 3 months, sometimes up to 6 months for a new representative to be acclimated to their territory. Now that has a lot to do with their customer base and things like that, but some of it comes to product knowledge as well as organization. So as a hiring manager, I absolutely hated that. So every executive is going to tell you this year is the biggest year for sales, but if you know a little bit about Endo, we came off around 2016, and a lot of changes in leadership, so 2017 really was a really important year. So we didn't have that 3-month, that 6-month buffer for new hire representatives to really acclimate to the territory. So we need them to be quicker on the learning curve and start with us. So obviously George mentioned the expanded home study. But what was that? The point of that was really to kind of stress and allow representatives to not only feel comfortable with the product knowledge, but during the home study process actually start going through verbalization of the product, right? So we send them the marketing material we have, our master visual they have in their hands. And we use something called Hire New Coach. For those who aren't familiar with it, it's a simple process. What we're able to do is not only send them marketing material, but we can actually send them scenarios. It can be simple as verbalize the group indication, contract indication, important safety information, but you can also make it a little bit more in depth and put them in a scenario going cover to cover for the visual aid. Now keep in mind, they're doing all of this through a home study. What that really stresses is the fact that in the past, you've gone through product knowledge, you know everything like that. Then it comes to live training, and you have 2 weeks for them, the learning material, continue to engage in the product knowledge, and then by the time they meet, we move that to experts. At this point in time, we started that in the live training, and all we do in the live training part is fine-tune. So it allows us to fine-tune the skills and the product knowledge, so that when they do leave live training, they are as most experts as we can have them be. And Colin's going to talk about our follow-up plan. It's not just get them out the door and good luck. But some of the things we were able to work with Inventive is, they mentioned the millennials. I'm not sure if by looking at me, I am a millennial myself. But what we were able to do is put really small chunks of training. So you got salespeople here, right? Salespeople don't work 1, 2, 3 weeks straight, right? They get a little antsy. So what we do is all of our workshops, because we did the PowerPoint and those things during home study, all of our workshops are about utilization of what we've already learned, moving around, keeping things engaged, that allow the sales live sales training to not be that PowerPoint. Something we definitely wanted to make sure we avoided. So with our work with Inventive, between total 6 products and 3 business units, we conducted 8 workshops that have all been really started since January, I would say. So it was quite long days, but it's definitely paid off. So we sit back now and we'll be able to analyze and do our job, right? So our reps coming out and new live training, new verbalization, and 30, 60, 90, are we having these reps quicker around the learning curve when it comes to getting the extra training? Because the most frustrating thing is when a rep comes out 60 days after live training, they're way behind on stuff, and what happens? You're going to sales training, right? So Colleen's going to talk about the 30, 60, 90-day plan. That really kind of puts it on the manager as well as sales training to make sure.
And one thing I just wanted to add, and I think Jim's being very humble as well as writing down hiring a coach. Jim's piloted this previously in the field as a manager. One of our units has used it. But I want you to think about hiring a coach as technology. I'm sure many of you are familiar, like the video interview, where you go in, you're given a number of questions, you take the video gets submitted, and those folks take a look at you and I move or don't move on you. Well, they take that to a coaching platform. So in this case, when they're doing verbalizations, the home study with the sales aid, it's recorded. They don't have a chance to do over. It's uploaded to the trainers. They can coach the reps on it. They can review it anytime that they want. And then it's an interactive way of having that dialogue with the rep at group convenience, of being able to verbalize it as opposed to just studying. Just a very great job of just launching that for the organization. So,
Hi, so I'm Colleen Sweeney, and But as you all know, one of the biggest challenges for pharma is the constant rep turnover, right? So that's a lot of time, money, and effort lost. So we took a step back and tried to think, why is that occurring? And we thought it was because there was such a drop-off, the support between training and the rep means the real world with their DM. So our challenge for all of us is to find a way to create a real partnership between us and the DM to have a clear handoff after live training is finished. So what we did, and that helped us do this, was we created a 30-60-90 plan. So that way, the trainers and the DMs were supporting the rep through the first 30, 60, and 90 days. And some of the buckets that we covered in this was the clinical knowledge, our lead selling model, coverage, and business planning. And the way we did it was we determined what skills need to be developed in those 30, 60, 90 days, the tactic required to do so, and then what point person was going to accomplish this with the rep, whether it be us, the DM, so that there was a more clear structure around the support for the new hires. And this is the first time we're going to go through it, and we're also creating more touch point calls after live training with the trainers to see kind of what can go better, what can need more support on. There's really around supporting the rep after live training to kind of keep them in the loop so they never feel lost from support. That's what we try to accomplish with our 30, 60, 90. And I'll turn it over to Paul.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for overviewing some of the things you did that was a little more innovative. Onboarding is kind of one of those things where you just, you have to do this, you have to do that, and you just try to check the box. This is a great example of even in that phase how they came to the table with something a little more innovative. We are going to do an activity, this is the last activity, so just stay with us just a few more minutes here. So we're going to put this down. So all of you watch kind of the show. So our esteemed panel here is actually never going to be judges. And what we're going to do is just give you a hinting activity here, which I think is going to be pretty exciting. What we're going to do is we're going to give you a scenario and just work in teams. And they're going to kind of judge this. We're going to give you about 10 minutes. The scenario is your organization is launching a new selling model. The only venue by which you have to deliver this training is virtual, right? So there's no face-to-face meeting for this launch at all. Maybe 6 months from now, you have a POA and you can do some application simulations, but from the beginning, you have 2 months to actually deploy a new selling model. The only thing you can use, like I said, is virtual ways of touching your runners over time. A few things, John, if you want to go through really quickly, kind of the instructions around that.
Okay. The idea is that. Yeah, so it's so the idea is what we want you to do is you don't need to design the whole training here, but think of it like we're the 3 critical activities that take place. And we want you to be able to use the 4 E's from before for engaging, accessible, effective, efficient, but then focus on the 3 learning styles. So click ahead, this one. So you have your auditory, you have your visual, and you have your tactile there. Okay? And what we want you to do is think about which activities, is it fun? Is it going to be engaging? Use the checklist to determine, is it accessible? Is this something that's going to be available to everyone? It's going to be easy for them to use. It's going to be intuitive. Is it going to be available everywhere? Does it engage the different styles? Or do I need a couple different ways to be able to get at it? Is it functionally relevant? Are there opportunities for learners to apply the practice and skills to ensure that they have to actually do it? Going back to Mary's County this morning with people driving in the icy roads in Colorado. And then lastly, is efficient. Will this be time well spent? Are we using the people's time wisely? Is that valuable? And then illustrate on this whole, does this activity really help the learners understand how this will make them work better and how you measure success? So there's a few things on your table that I'll help you. So first of all, this is our 27 learning center report. So what we did is we worked with the innovations group within Inventive and came up with are the 10 biggest trends in learning. It's a great, it's a really, really good document. Really happy with how this turned out. I will send out a digital version very soon. We just got it published on Friday. But it goes through a series of different things. But one of the things we did to build it was what these cards are. So as you're having a discussion, flip through these cards for some ideas for some things that you could actually leverage to build it. Just use these as just kind of place in your lessons.
Just one facet of that, and we just gave you a template. What is the design? What are the clues and other things that you can use in your mind? Think of all these things to engage that. So we'll spend just about 10 minutes and just come up with some ideas, and we'll have our esteemed panel here up on top there, kind of judge that.
To use this, then I can talk about 5 different points. Find a table with about 4 of the people at it, 3 or 4 of the people who do the work with. Faustina's all by herself. There's some friends over there. I want to
Okay, so we're gonna wrap this activity up. All right, so think about the design of what you put together based on what we went through today, right? Analyzing, design, development, implementation. Keep in mind the styles piece as well, not only the technology. And back to the scenario, if you had to implement a new selling model, the virtual environment, leading up to the launch of it live, what would you be doing? So we're going to ask our Intel colleagues here to be judges. They have arrows and everything, so they're going to score it. So let's start with this table. You want to start here or you want me to start somewhere? Okay. You guys have a
Okay, so we kind of just talked through a very high level approach on what we like to do. We imagine we would start with some type of video program where we would have a 6-minute video, kind of like a TED Talks, being led by a senior leader who is also engaging, not the boring, monotone leader to find some of this dynamic, and have them deliver, roll out decision investing, new sales models, coming your way, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then we imagine that from there, we would set up a series of social environments where various content owners, like I might own product information, and he might own objection handling, and he might own some other aspect of the sales model. And we would divvy those out to the staff, and they could join those groups and have conversations around what they're likely to see as we roll this model out over a 2-month period, and then we would have the expertise ready to answer those questions and run those forums. We also talked about so we also have, Sean was going to actually catch you after we're done, we did deploy a hierarchy coach. We've chosen to rebrand the name because hierarchy has the connotations of the interview process. So we're on the coach inside. And Higher View Coach. Yeah, the company name is Higher View, and are known in the HR industry for doing recorded interviews. Because of that baggage with the name, we didn't want to keep the Higher View name, so we went to V Coach and we rebranded the site and all that stuff. All our users use V Coach. I'm in the middle of doing my beta rollout right now, and so we're working on that as we speak. But we would use that tool to create these micro-learning environments where I would not be using it in the full-on coach mode where a certified coach is blessing or not blessing the message. Instead, we use it as where you're going to peer review. So you can present to 3 other people, those 3 people give you the feedback, we're not calling that coaching at this point, this is low-level peer. Then, after some period of time of that, we can move to coaching level. Now we're going to do formal coaching. Here's some bits and tips, you've had your peer input. Now this is a formal process, so we can move that into the tool allows all of that level of activity. So we thought about doing that as well. Thought about a few more videos along the way. We also already use, because we also have scrimmage inside the company, we're going to roll out rival games, where I can challenge you, and you can challenge me live, social learning, quick hitting, you get like 12 seconds to answer, the faster you answer, the more points you get. 7 questions, you do it 7 question versions, you get up to 4 answers to respond, and everybody's doing this socially for a pool of 50, 60, 70 questions. And we'll refresh that game on a regular basis to make sure people are getting the fine points. And as we move into the formal coaching process, we can also engage in role-playing elements, which other people don't like. What you do instead is you basically refer to it as live practice sessions, where you've got a person who's going to play the customer, and an observer who's going to get live feedback. And leading into all that, the very first thing we've got to take off is we have training trainers, so we're going to be regular, effective feedback. We're providing proper feedback to the reps across the board. So when I'm doing my coach review, I understand how to provide that review, how to provide that content and speak, regardless of which of the trainers do the assessment. And from there, we're talking also launching some distance center stuff. So if you're a person who doesn't like to play the games, we'll monitor. If you're a person who chooses not to engage in the gaming activity, we're going to send you a couple of chapter books to learn the material and study at home on your own. So you've got some reading material if you're not a person who wants to get out there and social media, we're going to try to cover that base as well. We're going to have multiple methodologies of doing content. Video is going to be the most commonly consumed version, and it's also the easiest for the bulk of our population. That's not quite true now, because I got a lot of legacy projects. And so much of the video will join as much as just reading something. But I think that if I look at the 90% of our newer sales reps, they're going to want to consume those videos. So we're going to try to give them a number of different options. And what else can we talk about? Ladies? Do I get to pick the next victim?
Yes. All right. Here's your score. Whoa.
No, I genuinely do have that, but I genuinely do. I just bought it, so that's a genuine issue.
We thought about a few things. The first thing that we would start out is providing background foundational information about the process. And that we thought about different ways to do that, from e-modules to videos, and also having things available that they could print for those baby boomers like me that still need that hard copy information. Then we thought that we would follow that up with a series of virtual learning, either WebEx or whatever it is the technology, the platform that you use. And we would do that in small chunks, so small, 45 minutes type of sessions, and we would cover the different steps of the model, giving after a session, giving them different activities in order to practice what was reviewed. We also talked a bit about variables, which I would imagine might be at a higher review approach, and providing an assignment after the virtual session so that they could practice what was reviewed, the skill or the knowledge skill that was reviewed in that session. So we would do that to cover the different steps of the model. So pieces of information, knowledge, and then practice and go on. So we cover the entire model. We also talked about the reinforcement of course, using things like QStream, or using some of the vendors that provide that technology, where we would provide reinforcement, and but doing it in a more personalized way. I know that there's different tools out there that they'll send questions based on the answers. You can go a level higher in terms of the difficulty, or not that go back a bit and review some of the concepts that were missed. Anybody wants to volunteer?
Okay, here we go. We'll try to move fast so you guys all can have a chance to report out. So right off the bat, so instead of analyzing, we're going to say we're going to study each one of the maps in a region or district. Doesn't in a particular aspect of the process. So like a stage or concept, whatever, they would get one of those pieces. So then they would participate in the pre-work. So the pre-work might be some modules set out to them. Some definition, it could be one expert work previously sent out to them, but they're kind of doing it on their own time. We give them 2 weeks for that. We also allow them to discussion with their own field counterparts. We think that interacting with your own team, because talk about the subject matter helps you retain the knowledge. Then we get the training piece, which will not be done by a sales trainer. It'll actually be done by the individuals that all got assigned one part of the puzzle to present that to their region. So they at least become an expert on one piece of the sales training or the sales process. And then they come up collectively with it. At this point, we're going to do a knowledge check. So we're going to have them go into our app, whatever it may be, go in and actually do a check of, do they get the information from their counterparts, that are they good? Most likely to come back just okay. So we don't want to do more to better. So now is the point of implementation, where the region manager or district manager is going to be riding along with the reps and ask them to actually use the sales process. Utilize it with the customer, utilize it whether it's pre-call planning, whatever, closing, whatever it could be. Once they've completed that piece of it, then look at it and do an else check again. So we're evaluating them one final time to make sure that they've completely got the concept, and we'll revisit it throughout the rest of the calendar.
Okay, so we come up with So we come up with a really detailed plan for watching this thing. So our initial thought was to have some little video kits built that were looking to like show good bad scenarios in sort of bite-sized chunks. And the second thing that we thought would be pretty important would be to have some kind of social learning environment where they can ask each other questions, if there's anything that's people can ask, they can sort of work with each other and have the collective intelligence piece of it. And then another thing we thought would be really great is the video coaching aspect. So being able to send video to your manager, whoever it may be, and become certified in that way. And even having an option where they can sort of walk through a simulation where it's sort of like they have a couple different options of decisions to make and they can occupy that depending on what their options they choose. Another thing that would be great was to have some quick guides that can quickly access when they're in the field, because as we know, it's a first time to go look at full on trainings. So basically, we quickly reference like more information to them. An app to have different sound skills learnings available. Some type of gaming, so when they're going ahead, possibly be incentive-based if you and your board see how they stack up against everyone else. And kind of where some of those is having some aspect of suggestive learning. So based on what they take with work, it's similar to like Netflix or Amazon or whatever it may be, that you have a learning suggested to you, like to probably agree with learning or reinforce the subject. And also to analyze what you're not doing and where you're getting questions wrong, and those gaps and those suggested learnings to sort of balance out those areas where you're a little bit weaker to be a little more rounded. And that was all.
I guess 5:45. Any other thing you guys really want to This is the one thing to walk away with, is we found the, where'd you go? Anyway, if there's anything to walk away with, this is the big thing, because this is what we started doing with our learning strategy folks, and we're sitting down and developing things. We recognize that the overuse of technology can destroy a lot of things that we're doing, but we've also learned that it's a really efficient way, or it's necessarily efficient, it's a really effective way to be able to deliver content onto people. But when we started thinking about it, we can't sacrifice instructional design for the sake of cool technology or a fun game. And so these are the things that we use in these questions we put in front of our teams that they have to answer, have been things that really helped us to make sure that we're not falling into our own trap that we tell people is there. So just want to say thanks for everyone for staying on. We realize this is a late session, but we do appreciate it. I hope this is valuable and happy to talk more about it.
Thank you so much. All
right.
And that's all the
Yes.